Hi there, welcome back to the Community of Readers video blog. We're following the Old Testament readings for the Monkey Bar Challenge, and this week we're looking at 3 whole books: Nahum, Obadiah and Zephaniah. This is called Healing the Hate. Having spent 3 weeks wading through the prophecies of Isaiah, this is kind of the sublime to the ridiculous as we take 3 tiny books all in one go. Nahum is a prophecy from about 612 BC, about a very specific event: the destruction of the city of Nineveh, capital of the mighty Assyrian Empire. And Nahum is unrestrainedly enthusiastic, jubilant that the hated enemy Assyria has finally fallen. It's had its comeuppance. And he doesn't hold back in spewing out this vitriolic fervour of excitement that they have been shamed. Obadiah, by contrast, shows the irony of Nahum, because it was the Babylonians who defeated Assyria, and Obadiah is a prophecy again at a very specific moment, about 25 years later, when Nebuchadnezzar led the Babylonian army to destroy the city of Jerusalem, finally, once and for all, to raze it to the ground. And in that moment, the Edomites, Israel's neighbours, hopped on the back of the Babylonians' military victory and plundered the city and taunted the exiles that were being taken away to Babylon itself. Now there's a lot of history there, a kind of sibling rivalry that goes right back to Jacob, Israel himself, and his brother Esau, because Edom was the land settled by Esau. There's something about a fraternal rivalry, isn't there? When siblings fight, they fight hard. And Obadiah vents his spleen, dishes out judgment on the Edomites. Bitter judgment in response to the feeling of shame that Edomites has brought on the people of Judah. Both Nahum and Obadiah give an angry reaction, a no-holds-barred response to the feeling of victimization. And this is reality. The pain of oppression, of bullish oppression, is real, it's deep, it's taut, as wounds can open on that unprotected surface and scar easily, scar individuals and whole communities. Nahum and Obadiah are an example of how the scriptures do not censor rage. They do not censor pain. Now Zephaniah is quite different, because I guess he's like Amos in many ways, though about 100 years later. He's like Amos because he is in that tradition of prophets that turns attention inward. Nahum yells at Assyria, Obadiah yells at Edom, but Zephaniah takes a good, long, hard look at Judah. Now Zephaniah is interesting for us at the moment, because he's the first prophet that we've encountered in these readings so far to be within about 50 years of the fall of Jerusalem. So we've had Isaiah, who died about 50 years before Zephaniah, and the other prophets were before him. So we're getting right up close to this crumbling, this crushing. And so Zephaniah, prophesying during the reign of Josiah, the great reformer that we read about in 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles. Zephaniah probably lending weight to Josiah and his reforms. But this is the moment, this is a key moment in Israel's life, in Judah's life, where they are rethinking, re-evaluating. What are they about? And we know from the story that those reforms were short-lived. The desperation, the pain, the bitterness, the shame felt by people living under oppression is real. But who is the healer? Who is the healer for these acute offences? And what will their prescription be? Because for Nahum and Obadiah, it's like letting off the steam in rage. Maybe relieve some kind of anger, but does it heal? As we look around the world today and we think about these intractable conflicts, people deeply, deeply affected. We think of the Middle East, Israel and Palestine. We think of sub-Saharan Africa with tribes at war because of ethnic identity, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi. We think of Afghanistan. We think of all kinds of places where it feels like there is no hope, where how will people find a way out of the bitterness, the shame that they feel, the anger, the rage. I wonder, though, this may seem a strange moment to bring it up, but I wonder if this is one of those moments where science and religion walk hand in hand, or can walk hand in hand. Because with science, the science of psychology, of psychotherapy, actually gives us insights into why do people act the way they act. You know, physiologically, psychologically. Why do people feel the way they feel? Why do they act? And how can we help them? How can we help ourselves? But our faith in God and the fact that our scriptures are bold in acknowledging the pain and the anger felt by people who have been oppressed, who have suffered. Our faith in God gives us the courage to empathise with those who hate. The Assyrians raped the people of Judah's wives, daughters. They murdered their brothers. They took everything. And religion gives us a story through which we can imagine, albeit sometimes briefly, tentatively, a path to forgiveness. Our spirits are pumped full of emotion, and our faith, our scriptures, don't shut it down, they open it to let it out. But science, as it has always done, will give us its own perspectives, fueling our minds and our hearts with cool and calm reason. In the face of these overwhelming challenges, perhaps Zephaniah helps us in this way. That when the eye turns inwards and finds the same corruption that it hates outside. It screams for everything to end. But may then find a path to heal, to forgive, and to restore.